Joining me now to provide more insight on Li's trip is Paolo von Schirach. He is the president of the Global Policy Institute, an independent research firm that focuses on international affairs. So both sides have pledged to double current trade volume. Russia has a lot of expectations. They want more investment from China. What do both sides want out of this? And can Russian agricultural products help fill that U.S. void from the trade war?
Well, look, this is not exactly a marriage of equals. You know, there was a time in which Russia was the big boy in Eurasia, and China was a tiny, small, quite frankly, almost inconsequential economy. We're talking about the 1950s or 60s. Now, the ratio has been transformed radically. China is the second largest world economy, poised maybe in not so distant future to become the number one. Russia is kind of struggling. You know, its GDP is roughly the size of Spain, or a little more or less than Italy. So this is not, as I said, a union of equals. So there are certain mutual benefits that can accrue to the relationship. Certainly China can use more Russian energy, for sure, oil and gas, especially given what's happening in the Middle East right now. Supplies may be, you know, more questionable. And of course, the Russian armaments. And more broadly, the two countries together can form a different core that can, you know, stand against American unilateralism or other moves that seem to have upset, you know, global order. So the two countries together can create a new core around which maybe other countries in Central Asia can, you know, align themselves and what have you. So I think, you know, there is a potential there. From a Russian standpoint, you know, to be the junior partner may be not so comfortable.
You mentioned, you know, one of many things here. They are working together on many other international issues at the moment. You mentioned tensions in the Middle East, the trade war. They're going to see each other at the Security Council, UNGA next week in New York. So they've been working, they've been standing together on a lot of these issues. Talk to us about their relationship from that standpoint.
Well, certainly they want to provide also a different, you know, how can I say, a sense that standing together, they have a powerful alternative to the United States. There have been joint military maneuvers in the, not this particular context, but in the past, in which Chinese units and Russian units and others from the region have participated. And again, there seems to be, I wouldn't say if not unanimity, but at the very least a concurrence between Moscow and Beijing in analyzing threats to world security right now, whether it's you know, the Iranian nuclear deal that America has denounced and Russia and China together support. Venezuela, the United States you know, considered Maduro as kind of a pariah head of state. The Russians and the Chinese together supported in varying degrees, you know, and certainly challenged the American and notion also shared by many other countries that Maduro is not a legitimate head of state. And free trade. Of course, the United States now is accused, you know, with some ground of being protectionist and unilateralist, and China supports a vision of you know, open trade and rules-based system and whatnot. So there, on a number of different fronts, it would appear that whether there's a genuine belief in the same things or purely, you know, something that is more transactional, the two countries seem to be in agreement most of the time on critical issues, and certainly in the words of the Chinese president, to consider this really a strong and intense relationship that China, even though it's not technically an alliance, but it's certainly a strong partnership, which, you know, this visit is an indication that both countries want to grow it into something bigger.
SCO, BRICS, APEC, they're all members of all these regional blocs, not to mention the personal relationship between the two presidents. Paolo von Schirach, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.